I'm still hung up for parts on the other job, on the other shovel there. Been like 3 weeks now trying to get a belt drive system, but it's supposed to come in yesterday and it wasn't, so it's supposed to come in today. But in any case, it gives me time to work on Margaret, so I've been getting a lot of the smaller things that take time done up. And I think today I'll just fool with getting the handlebars on. Right area. Pretty close. Okay, but now this one's out a little. This takes a little fooling around with, but if you kind of turn them this way so that when they tighten up, they'll come a little bit. There we go. There. Setting in there now. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of fooling around to get things adjusted the way you want to get them. But it's better to take the time and do that than to let them, be out of line or be loose. We don't want that, of course. I'm waiting for my speedometer cable to come today before I put the primary on. Once that comes, then I can put the primary on. So it's always something that's sort of holding you up. There. That looks pretty good. And like I say, I'm glad I widened them out to give you a little bit more leverage on it. Now I've opted for a little small Speedo, a mini Speedo. It should just fit in nicely between our handlebars here. We're gonna have to try something different here. The more I tighten it, it doesn't want to lock it up, so I think we're going to have to try to put it between the rubbers, possibly, and maybe that will help it keep in place so that it won't move around, because we can't have that. So we've got the first one on in there, and I'm going to put some grip glue on this. I'm trying to get it down inside there. If you just put it on here, it tends to just want to push it up. And yes, it's a bit messy on your fingers. There really is no other way. Let's see if we can get it on. Two bars at the top so that they match when they're at rest. Now I've tried a bunch of things over the years, crazy glue, all sorts of stuff to get your glues to stick on, but now I always use this Motion Pro grip glue. I get it out of Mid-USA, and I put it on with everything, and it seems to lock them up really tight. As long as your handlebars are roughed up good with some sandpaper, and then so this can adhere to it, that's the shit to use. That looks good. So we'll just let that dry and set up, and it'll be another piece of the puzzle done. All right, let's see if I've got some sheathing. I can put this in. We're definitely going to have to clean it up as we go, figure out which is the best way we want it down in here. And we have to put up with wiring here. We've got to have daytime running lights on the front. I've got to have signal lights on it. There's a lot of things that we got to have up here in order to get our bike inspected and stuff, so we can't get away with no wiring, no front brake, no front fender. I'm going to incorporate all these things on there so whoever gets this bike doesn't have a problem getting inspected. I see so many bikes come to me that have no signal lights on them, for one thing, especially if they are a US bike, custom bike or something like that, and everything has to be redone to get the signal lights on them and everything up here just to pass our every 2-year inspection. So I'm going to have to add those things on here, as much as I hate to look at the wiring, but I got a couple ideas that I'm going to kind of look at to make it cleaner, and we'll see what we can do. All right, So doing wiring is always a tedious thing, and keeping it clean is more important than anything. You know, just old black tape wrapped around stuff everywhere. It looks kind of cruddy. I use this stuff here. This is a sheathing that you can actually open up like that. And what's great about that is that if you're into wiring and you come across a problem somewhere, you can open up the sheathing and get to your wires, fix the problem, close the sheathing up again. So that's what we're going to use on here. It's nice and clean, looks great, saves you a lot of problems. We'll just open it up and try to get it started on here. What you doing, Norman? Huh, buddy? Coming out to see me? Coming out to see what's going on? All right. Just run that right up there. Make sure we're wrapped tight. And now we can tag it back up on our handlebars right here at the start. Shove it right up to the control. So I'm just going to pick away at that and get the other one on there, and we run it down this far so that I'm under the tank here, and I can start splicing my wire in and joining my wire down to the back. And when the tank goes on, this will be right over it here. So now you can see that the handlebars are nice and clean there. Even though the wiring has to be exposed, with a nice covering and a nice sheathing on it, it doesn't look quite so bad. And it's nice and clean up to the handlebar switches, and it'll run down here and run in underneath the tank. So it certainly cleans it up quite a bit. You've got to run it somewhere. You've got to have wiring along. You know, it's got to go somewhere. So you try to work with what you got and try to make it as clean as possible and as pleasing to the eye. So there we are. We're getting quite a bit done on it today. We've got the bars up. We've got the grips on. I think I'm getting near the end of the day. I got about a half hour here. I might try to put the cables on, but we're getting there. And she's starting to look up. Once again, I'm waiting for my Speedo cable to come before I can put the primary on. And I've waited for other stuff, and they assured me Tuesday, it'll be here Thursday. It's just an ongoing battle to try and get anything shipped here, but we're working away at it. Got the breather on now, pipes on, got a lot of the small things, getting our brake lines hooked up, some of our stabilizer bars, our support for our muffler. We've got our horn tagged up in here underneath, nice clean spot to put it. So overall, she's starting to take shape, and it's looking pretty good like that. So I'm pleased with the way it's coming. Kind of anxious to get our back fender back and have a look at it, but one step at a time. So this is where we had to get at the Speedo drive down in here, in behind, and the primary case will run across here. So it's very hard to get at, but now we have it tightened in there and in place where we want it. And we've got lots of length there to go up to our Speedo, so we'll route it where we want and get ready to put the primary back on. So now we've checked and double checked that our O-ring is in place, especially along the bottom. I'm going to make sure that it's in there. So now we got our seal in the back. And then we'll get the slid on there. We've already fitted our cover, so everything should go right into place. Just like that. Always use new nylocks if you're using them, because if they're been used before, the nylon part of it that locks the thread is no good. There we go. Now I gotta safety wire this, get that ready, slide things on, and we're gonna get our starter on here so that I can hook up my lever start. We'll go ahead and get the starter in place and then come back and we try to work on it. Oh, we get our safety wire. Stainless steel wire here. And we don't want this to be able to ungo that way. So we're going to hook one line straight down underneath it and come up from below. Patience is a virtue. Put a little piece in there so I can back it through there. And there we go. Now we've got it safety wired, and it's like to loop it over itself in there to lock it, but then now the bolt can't come undone that way and can't come undone that way. So we're gonna put our cover on here, and it's got a little square part there, and that square part goes out towards the shaft. Just slip that on. I've got my gasket silicone on one side so that they'll stay on this plate, and we've greased up the needle bearing inside here and got it ready to slide on, so we'll just put that on there. This is all so much easier to do before the oil tank goes in, so I like to do that at this point if I can. Now we've got that in place. Get our starter. Put some grease on here. There we go. And we'll slide her in place there. We get our other one started in place. All right. Now I'm going to have to look around and see if I got a support plate for here. It does take a different sort of one there, so I'm going to have to check and see what I got. So you sometimes miss things, but I got this little bracket here, which is my starter mounting bracket. That goes on there like that. And of course, it didn't get out for powder, so I'm gonna have to paint it to get it ready. There's always something. There's always those little pieces, no matter how much you take and put in a box and say, get that done, get that done. Come time for assembly, go, geez, forgot about that one. But we'll throw a coat of black paint on it and it'll be just fine for there. So we're working on getting our little shift lever in here, and we've put a little silicone on the gasket on the back side so that it will stay there. And we've put silicone around there, the lip, where it fits in. We've already figured out our spacing and our amount of washers that we want in here. So we're just going to slip the unit in place. That should seal it up. We've got our little springs compressed using two little tie wraps. Make it a lot easier to get on in there. Come over. Right. That looks to be right in place where we want it. We've been trying it with our basket. Make sure that it's back far enough at rest that there's no way that it will touch this ring gear here. Yet when we bring it out, we got full engagement on there. So what we've done is we've put some washers in behind this side, and we've put one on this side also to help force it back, to keep it back off of here. Now with our ring gear in place, you can see that we got full engagement there. Have to play with it a little bit, but there we go. So that's a little piece of the puzzle in there. It takes a little time to dick with. We've got it sealed up. We made a gasket for it there. Sealed that up with silicone. I'll probably go on the inside, put a little dab of silicone around there if I can, but I shouldn't need it with the silicone that I've got on there. So with that in place, starter assembly, that's in place. Now we can put the rest of the drive on. We've now got everything kind of set up here, and I've been taking some measurements across here, across my chain, to make sure that we have the right spacing. Everything seems to be right. So now we're going to have to take it apart and Loctite stuff and get ready and torque it all down. So we're going to go along and get our primary buttoned up here today. Don't need to go through all the steps, but right under there. Left-hand thread in here. We've got to make sure that our little clutch tab is locked in to the keyway. You don't want to break the keyway tab off. Get our little tool out. Now we're going to reach in there and bend them tab locks. Over here on this side. Loctite in there on that. Always. Jam bar in here. And the compensating sprocket is 80 to 100 pounds. Jam bar out. There, we got about 5/8 play in there. Looks good. All right. Now we'll get our clutch plates and get them put in. So while we were working away at it, we ran into a few problems, and I had put a 5-stud clutch hub in that I thought was good, and did all the work and got it ready and went to put it on, and it would rock on the shaft. It turned out the taper in the back of it was worn out more than I would care to deal with. So I had a 3-stud, and we're going to run with that. I've also put the big fix rollers in, and I put the ramjet retainer in there to help. But I had to switch back to a 3 from the 5. But that's all right. I also took the starter drive out here, and I put a brand new Bendix in there because we're going to run off that, and I didn't want to take a chance on, you know, an older Bendix being a problem down the road. So we put a brand new Bendix in it. We've also put a brand new primary chain on it. So we've basically done everything we could do to make it better and good in here. We'll slide our plates in. So they say 1 inch and a 32nd on here from the back of this plate to the face of that one. I like to run them about 1 inch myself. All right, so now we have the primary case set up. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Got everything in place there. I'm waiting for new gaskets to come in to get a new gasket on it, and then we can put the primary on it. But it just has to have the case on it. So now we can move on to some other components. I think the next thing I'm going to work on a bit of is wiring. Kind of get that in order, and running some wires up through. I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with the speedo up there. It's pretty wiggly. We'll see. But she's come a long way from the old field that she came from, and I'm feeling pretty good about that. So if you enjoyed this video today, like, subscribe, comment, ring the bell, do those kind of things. It helps us to grow. I hope you're enjoying this trip. I am. Be sure and check out my brothers down south, Hippie's Chopper Corner and Slickhead's Custom Cycles. Always a barrel of fun. Check them boys out. Be sure to subscribe to them. And stick around next week. I think my belt is coming in. I think the right belt is coming in for this other project. I got the belt drive, but along with the belt drive came another problem. So as you can see here, this is how the belt fits. Lays right on the primary case. And I checked through the different sorts of kits, and this belt, particular belt, is for a different kit. It's not for the one I ordered. And they say they're going to send me a new belt, and now I'm another week and a half down the road. It's Friday. I still see no belt. I'm not impressed. So a lot of people don't realize that in your everyday life of a mechanic, this is the kind of stuff you put up with. The wrong stuff these days, the wrong parts, things don't fit. And unfortunately, it's a mechanic who spent all the time putting it together, doing this, and then lots of times has to disassemble, take it all apart again, then get the new part, reassemble again, which is all lost time that you can't charge the customer for. And you know, they don't seem to care. It doesn't seem to matter anymore. it's becoming pretty frustrating to me to have to deal with this kind of stuff. I've had this bike here for like way over a month now, which should have been just a week or so to get the job done. Been dicking with this belt drive trying to get one, blah blah. I get it now, it's wrong. So yeah, I'm a bit upset about the whole situation. It's really leaving a bad taste in my mouth, even with the brand name stuff, to say, well, I don't know how that belt got mixed up in that kit. I don't know either, but it's again a mechanic that loses the time. Just crap, just crap. So we're getting things buttoned up. We've got our little piece on there now for that, and we've got our exhaust mounted now, which looks pretty good on it, I would say. Just fitted these pieces so I know where my signal lights are going to go here, so that they will be off of part to mount the sissy bar as well. So that will keep that nice and tight. And we've not opened that up because I don't want to scratch it all up. But we're getting there. So it's quite a journey as it goes, you know, but every day we get a little closer now, and I'm getting a little more stoked about it. So stick with us. It's never dull, and I'll see you next week.